What's up, everybody? I'm your boy Charles McBee. How much battery do I have on this thing? I don't have that much battery, so this might be a short video. I'm a stand-up comedian here in New York City. I'm here to help you if you are new to the city or new to the New York comedy scene or new to stand-up comedy in general, and you don't know how to even get started. How do I even get started? I am here. I am your friend. I'm here to help you try to figure it out. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, please, all that good stuff. Help me get my followers up from 12 to about 13, 14. That'd be great. Stand-up comedy classes. Can comedy be taught? Is there such a thing? Are they scams? Are these teachers hacks? Are they here to run amok, bamboozle you, lead you astray? We're gonna talk about it. And of course, as always, I got my notes. Let's start with that age-old question. Can comedy be taught? All right, look. There is a difference between being able to teach someone how to structure a joke and teaching someone to be the next whoever your favorite comic is. Insert your favorite comedian. All right. There's a big gap in between. Okay. Can the structure of comedy be taught? Of course it can. Can the different styles of comedy be taught on what they are and the different techniques used in comedy? Of course they can be. What's a punchline? What's a setup? What's a misdirection? The rule of three, etc., etc., etc. All of that are concepts and rules that can be taught. And they're very helpful, especially if you've never written a joke before. So that, I think, for beginners or people who have never done this, it is a great way to enter the world of stand-up. If it's something that you're curious about, or if it's something that you want to get into and just don't know how to do it. Hearing from an experienced comedian is a great way to start. So yeah, I think classes are great for that. And I don't think that in general, I don't think that they're a scam, and I don't think that they are they're not some made up thing. Like I just don't get. It's like some comedians are just, I don't know, the logic of some comics who say certain things, it baffles me sometimes. But when they scoff at the idea of a comedy class and you can't teach, like, shut up. Sure you can. Again, that doesn't mean you're teaching someone to be the next Kevin Hart or the next Bill Burr. You're just teaching the structure of how to structure a joke and the basics of comedy. All right, so there we go. There's certain things that kind of like this tutorial. I'm trying to help you move quickly and avoid certain pitfalls in getting started in this comedy thing, and that's pretty much the same way classes are for beginners. I mean, they can help you avoid certain mistakes that if you were just on your own, it would take you longer to avoid. Certain tics. If you get up and you're performing in front of the class, if they're a good teacher, they're going to point out, okay, you always tug on your shirt. I had this thing when I was starting out. I was so self-conscious about me being on stage and how I looked and whatnot. I would tug at the bottom of my shirt. Just because some insecurity somewhere was like, I don't like the way I look in this shirt. Even if I like the way I look in the shirt, even if I specifically wore the shirt because I thought I looked good in it, I'm on stage, I'm constantly tugging on it. And this is it's a nervous tic. Some people, they'll pace back, forward and backwards. It's a tic. All that stuff is a tic. Some people would always say fuck 100,000 times, or they'll say, they'll say like 100 million times. All these things are tics. Tick, 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 ticks. And a good teacher can point those things out so you don't have to go through the next several months or years doing these things. They'll teach you to move a mic stand out of the way. All that stuff are things that an experienced teacher can teach a beginner, and just kind of get you on a fast track to being more polished, right? Not running the light. That's another thing. What is a light? What the hell is a light? Anybody who, any comic knows what the light is. But if you don't, you'll know that the light is when, your time is almost up, you got a minute left, and a light comes on. Usually it's a red light. Sometimes people will hold up their cell phones in the back of the club, depending on the show. That means you have 1 minute left, right? Don't run the light. You will be ostracized. You will be shamed. You will be hated, all right? Most importantly, you won't be booked. So don't be the comic that runs the light. If you have a minute left, wrap it up. These are things taught to you, in beginner classes and things of that nature that you may not have a concept of knowing, right? Just stuff like that. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean you run out and sign up for the first class there is and it's going to change your life. There are classes that are great. There are classes that suck. I will not be endorsing nor thwarting any classes here. But if you DM me, I'm a little more liberal in the DMs. All right, I can maybe push you in certain directions or tell you my personal phase. But I'm not gonna shit on anybody. But I'll tell you my personal phase in the DMs. But ain't nobody paying me, so I ain't endorsing nobody on this channel. But there are some classes that are really good, teachers that are good, and there are some that are meh. And it's, ask around. You can ask me personally, not here, but DMs. And ask other comics or other seasoned comics too, and they'll kind of point you in the right direction. Most comics, especially the seasoned ones, we don't want you to go through the same things. This is the whole reason I'm doing this series, right? We don't want you to go through the same things we went through. So we'll go out of our way to push you in the right direction. And so, ask a vet, ask, someone that you look up to or whatnot about classes and about teachers and who's good and who, they might not shit on a teacher, but they may say this person or this, this person knows what they're doing, or this person is more suited to your style of comedy or whatever the case might be. All right. I personally, just on a personal note, when I was starting out, I took a class at pretty much every club in the city because my thought process was at the time, and mind you, I was paying like nothing for rent, and so all the money that I made, I pretty much pocketed it. I pretty much just kept it. I wasn't making that much money, but I was like renting a bedroom from a family friend, so I had a little bit of money to play with, and I took it, and I literally just went to every major club and took a class there, and thinking that if I take a class at a club, then that'll be my fast track to getting passed at the club, because that makes sense, right? No, don't do that. That is not a good reason to take a comedy class. It is not a strategic move to getting passed at the club. But I did gain a lot from taking those classes. Some more than others, but it did get me, I was able to use it as a resource because a lot of the teachers that teach these classes, they've been doing a comedy for a long time. And you're able to kind of you're paying for their information. At least for me. Other than them helping me work on my sets, I was paying for info. Because, to be honest, some of the comedians, some of the teachers I worked with were amazing comedians, and some, were So, again, I'm not naming none, but the wealth of information I was able to get from them specifically, that made it worth it also. So, taking a class at a specific club, don't do it thinking that that's going to get you connected to that club. That's what I thought, stupidly. Not the case. Just if you're going to go the class route, just do it based on this teacher getting great recommendations and coming high, just do it based on you trying to be a better comic. Last but not least, on this particular topic, if you're other than asking other comics, professional comics, who they would recommend, do some research on the different teachers. If you're looking at a comedy class, do some research on the teacher who's teaching that class. Who are they? Are they a working comic? Were they a working comic 30 years ago, but now they're, because times have changed. And and you don't necessarily just want to learn about writing a joke, but you kind of want to learn how to write a joke that works today. Are they, what are their credits? What have they done? And are they funny? Look up clips of them online, of them performing. Look up different things that they've accomplished and that they've done. They should come with some credentials. If you don't find them funny, then what the hell are they going to teach you? So that's the most important thing. Are they funny? Look up, if they're funny, look at what they've done, some of the things that they've worked on. And if they've been in the business a long time, that's great because they can give you a wealth of knowledge. But if they're not working currently, or if they're not getting booked, if they're not, that would be a red flag for me. So just take that with a grain of salt. You want to look for teachers who have a wealth of knowledge but are also funny. So there you go. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Follow me online. Follow me on Instagram, specifically at Charles McBee. And hopefully I'll see you around in the comedy scene. All right? Peace.